Right, so this is it, everyone. We have come to the end of an awesome 2023 for MMA. I feel like 2023 is going to go down as the year of the upset. Yeah, like Sean Strickland's win over Izzy, Volk's dreams of being a GOAT. Oh my boy, my poor boy. Chandler's dreams of ever getting red panty night, and Dana White offering the Fury Jones fight, and Ngannou actually getting the bag. What a damn crazy year. But as we roll into 2024, we know that this is MMA, so the show must, of course, go on. So I thought I would give you lot my wish list of what I want to see in 2024. And of course, hear yours down in the comments. So what do we, the fans, want the most in 2024? Let me know if I've missed anything on this list. If it's a must-have, put it down there in the comments, but let's get right into it. Okay, I'm going to start off with the one thing that I want to see the most, and that is bring knees to a grounded opponent into the UFC. I can't believe this, but this simple rule change, with just this simple rule change, we already would have seen a different champion this year in 2023. I'm talking about Aljo versus Sterling. Now, Sterling isn't the only fighter that uses that ridiculous rule to their advantage, but he got an unjustified win this year because of it. I mean, really, he won his title via acting, didn't he? He was pretending to be hurt against Petr Yan, and it was the knees to a grounded opponent rule, and then he kept his title against Cejudo because Henry really couldn't knee him in the head when Sterling was down on his knees in front of him. Like, we literally had a UFC champion whose reign was defined by being on his knees in front of another man. Does that scream UFC to you? But look, even though Aljo's all right now, it really does remind me why the MMA community can just get so angry at Sterling. I mean, it's not just him, it's his gutless mate Merab as well. It's not just Aljo and Merab. There are many fighters that spam takedowns and wet blanket wrestle. If we could knee a downed opponent in the UFC, it would make failing takedowns so much more dangerous, because now the athlete that is engaged in the takedown is on their knees in front of the athlete that has successfully remained standing up, a perfect position to get kneed in the head. So this aggressive, spammy nature of takedowns would just slow right down. On the flip side of that, if you are in top position, it gives you more options to finish the opponent because you now have more weapons available to you. We see it in one championship all the time. It's definitely a positive to have in the sport rather than a negative. So, number one on the wish list for me, bring in knees to a downed opponent into the UFC. The second is one of the biggest things that I think we are all sick of, and that is this champ gimmick. The second a champ calls for champ in like their first or second run of title defenses. Like we saw Leon talk about it if he was to beat Colby. And now we know that that's ridiculous because Colby shouldn't even be a top 5 welterweight. He's like 12th, if at best. You know, yeah, that's what I said, Colby fans, okay? Maybe he's ranked 12th at best. Come at me, don't care. Colby Covington sucks. We got Dricus. Dricus, who hasn't even won yet, is already talking about champ. Islam Makhachev, who's only beaten one lightweight in the top 5. Well, at least until Arman Sarukian snuck in there. But still, as a champion, yeah, he hasn't defended against a lightweight, and now he wants to move up. There's so much talk of Islam moving up. And look, I know it's not Makhachev's fault. He did us Aussies a favor by fighting Volk the first time. And he did all of us MMA fans a favor at UFC 294 by keeping that card alive. So I'm not knocking him, mate, but I'm just saying, like, defend against a lightweight before you move up. I don't think that's ridiculous. Can we make it a rule that you need to clean out the top 5 of your division before you can even say the champ thing? And maybe it's not an official rule because late notice fights can be saved by champions moving around, but just like a general community vibe, yeah? Like, if someone says champ and they're not lapping their division, just boo them. Boo that man. Next thing that I want to see in 2024 is for the UFC to just fix the heavyweight division. Heavyweight has been a mess ever since, what was it? Stipe versus DC. The heavyweight division has been a mess ever since then. You've got the contract negotiations with Francis Ngannou, the interim title with Gane. Then Ngannou wins a decision over Gane without doing any damage and then just leaves the UFC. John Jones moves up, gets injured as a champion, doesn't get stripped like two other champions that were injured that exact same year. Now we have a new interim champion who is not going to fight for the belt because we have to give it to an old man who was a champion back when the Roman Empire was still in power. It was so long ago. So that our current champion, drug cheating, always hard to deal with, wife abuser, can go out as a glory man of beating. Like, it doesn't make any sense. Why are we giving him this perfect exit to MMA? Oh God. And then in the meantime, let's put out rumors that the light heavyweight champion, who's only had two fights at light heavyweight, is going to challenge for the interim title against the interim title guy, but the interim title means nothing because we're going to strip him the second the champion comes back. So this fight just means nothing at all. Like, why do it? And then the light heavyweight champ, if he wins the interim title, will pretend that he's amazing because he has 3 belts, even though the third one is kind of an empty belt. It doesn't matter. And the second one, the light heavyweight belt, I mean, it was won off a late stoppage. He's a rangy striker and he's been in the division for such a short period of time. We don't even know how he'll go against a heavy wrestler like, I don't know, Ankalaev. So that second belt that he has is, it's on a late stoppage. It's a bit of a tainted legacy as well, but everyone really likes Pereira because his face looks like a meme. So if you talk about the fact that his second belt's a little bit undeserved, you get trashed in the comments. So let's just ignore all that. We'll just move him up to heavyweight to give heavyweight something to do so we can pretend to put on this championship fight while the guy who has only been a heavyweight for 2 minutes as a champion can come back and fight someone else. Heavyweight, what is going on? Stop. Enough. Pereira, you fight the winner of Ankalaev versus Walker, or the winner of Yuri versus Rakic, depending on who is more impressive and more fun. John Jones, you will fight Aspinall or retire. Stipe, fight Aspinall or retire. Aspinall fights the winner of Almeida or Gane. Fix it. Fix heavyweight. Enough. It has been years of just a mess at the top of heavyweight, and in 6 months' time, it can be fixed. Dana White, Francis Ngannou embarrassed you, okay? He got the bag, he won the day, take the L and move on, okay? That's it, done. No more heavyweight madness. That's it. That's my wish list of 2024. I could go on, but I want to hear yours back. So chuck them down in the comments. I love hearing comments from you guys, especially from this one from Micah Hung Lad on the RIP welterweight video. Micah goes, bro, it's okay if you don't enjoy the sport, man. If you just want to watch knockouts, go watch boxing. Micah, you hung man. Look, I like exciting fights and we pay money to support these athletes in exciting fights. If they want big money, if they want to, draw eyes on them, then they don't get eyeballs by being the kind of athletes that rock up to a press conference and say, I'm really excited for this Saturday, and then go into the arena and throw leg kicks from range. Like, they can do that. That's fine, but don't expect to get paid the big bucks. And if you want MMA to grow as an industry and as a sport, then it needs money. The reason that it's on ESPN, the reason that it still has pay-per-views that can sell and generate the big bucks, there's a reason that athletes that aren't even in the UFC, that are just, other MMA fighters, can get sponsorships. And that's because MMA continues to grow as a whole. And if we want it to be the kind of sport where you walk out, you bow, you be respectful, you get into the cage, you point strike, you don't get hit, and you thank God on the way out, then, enjoy the kind of money and the kind of schedule that brings, because you're not going to have a big event on most weekends of the year. So don't hate us fans that want excitement too much, mate. Enjoy your technical fights and let us enjoy our wars. And if we complain when they're boring, that's all good. You can complain when Colby Covington decides that he wants to compare Leon Edwards' dad to the German dictator of 1940. Weak ass YouTube, man. You can't even say that name anymore without getting flagged. But And you can complain about that kind of behavior being unsportsmanlike on Twitter all you want. That's fine. But let us excitement enjoyers complain when the fights are boring, like the last 3 fights on UFC 296 were. They were boring. But it's all good. Let me know your wish list for 2024. What do you want to see in 2024? Put that down there in the comments. Have an awesome holiday break. Merry Christmas to everyone, and I will see you all in the next video.